The new LGBTQ plus slasher flick, They Them, was released last week, and because I was busy at C2E2, I wasn't able to see it until last night. It's from Blumhouse and Peacock, so it's going to have some baggage attached. This subject matter will definitely be a hot-button topic, so as usual, I ask to be respectful in the comments and try to understand that the world is made of many different opinions. Even if you don't agree with them, it's not worth your time and energy to try to argue or change another person's mind. And it's not worth my time or energy to police my comments section. So let's everyone behave, shall we? Here's my review of They Them. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. They Them is new, streaming exclusively on Peacock. It's directed and written by John Logan. Making a horror film with a social commentary angle in the year of 2022 is like walking through a minefield. Reviewing it is even worse. No matter what stance you take, someone is going to take offense to it, and given the current cultural and political divide, the resolution to these offenses is as attainable as me getting a sponsorship for hair products. Both ain't going to happen anytime soon, folks. So I venture carefully into this film, They Them, a slasher set at a Christian conversion camp. An understandable amount of ire has been lobbed at these types of camps as they attempt to scare the gay out of the unfortunate children who are sent there. Films like But I'm a Cheerleader and even episodes of South Park have addressed the issue to pretty outstanding effect. While I wouldn't categorize either of these examples as horror, they do show the dark side of these camps rather astutely. But with the conversion occurring at a camp, and camps being the prime target for slashers, it's no surprise one would be the setting for a little old-school stalk and slash. Camp Whistler is such a camp that goes back generations in conversion therapy. Led by Owen Whistler, played by Kevin Bacon, and his wife Dr. Cora Whistler, played by Carrie Preston, they have quite an impressive track record with quote-unquote setting kids straight. New counselor Molly, played by Anna Chomsky, begins digging into the Whistlers' dark past after a new group of LGBTQ enrollees are brought to the camp and a masked killer begins taking out employees. Who is this masked killer? Is it a disgruntled staff member, an angry alum, or one of the new crop of kids at the camp? At the beginning of They Them, Owen gives a carefully crafted speech meant to show how understanding and hip Camp Whistler really is. It includes a dismissal of any religious teachings that the new kids might expect and encourages them to enter the camp with an open mind. This was probably one of the more sensible and well thought out scenes of the movie. It manages to cover all the bases, addresses most of the complaints incoming kids might have, and still conveys a message of understanding and even a little bit of hope. Of course, it's bullshit, but there seemed to be a whole lot of time and energy put into this speech. Damn, I wish more of that time and energy would have been put into the rest of They Them. They Them is a movie that seems to be set in some kind of magical now where no one knows what the pronouns they them are. There are cell phones and modern references, but the whole camp, even some of the kids, look sideways when the lead LGBTQ hero, Jordan, played by Theo Germain, identifies with those pronouns. Now, right off the bat, I call bullshit. No matter where you lie with the issue or what part of the country you're from, only those who have been living under a rock the size of Jared Leto's ego don't at least know the basics of gender issues and preferred pronouns. It's taught in schools, it's on the news, it's in the movies and on TV, yet this film reflects the understanding and tolerance of the 50s. On top of that, there would definitely be more than one person in this group who uses the they-them pronouns in this day and age. It's ridiculous not to address or admit that. Now, if this were to take place down south, maybe I would give this film a little bit of a break. But no one has a southern accent, so that's simply not the case here. Purposefully misleading the viewer that no one would know what they-them means is simply ignorant. and shows that the filmmakers think they know how, quote-unquote, middle America, or those who think the wrong think, works. There's no type of specificity as to where this camp is located, what year it happens in, or even how old these kids are supposed to be. Some of them talk about being over 18, others look much younger and talk about graduating high school soon. Number one, there's no way kids over 18 years old would be forced to go there, and if they are over 18, why are they being bunked with those who are under the age of 18? The logistics are a mess, and on top of that, a legal nightmare. These gay characters are simply representative of what they are, not who they are. There's a scene where Jordan says, "You don't know who I am," and I'm like, damn straight I don't. You don't have any distinguishing characteristics past your gender. You're just the they-them person. And then there's the trans person, there's the questioning person, there's the gay athlete, there's the angry lesbian. None of these kids get enough screen time or effort to make them stand out from the rest, aside from sexual orientation. It's the counselors that get the only distinguishing characteristics. A pair of counselors who are married and former converts of the camp have to look at cell phones of people of their same sex that they took from the kids in order to get turned on. That's some fucking character right there. The groundskeeper is a pervert who has cameras set up in the showers, and he's also got a room full of puppets. That's weird, and it's gross, but you know what else it is? It's character. None of the camp kids have an ounce of distinguishing features other than physicality and gender pronouns. On top of that, everyone is skinny with swimmer's bods. Sure, there's one chubby gal in the background, but she never even gets a line. Be better, Blumhouse. The cringiest scene you're ever going to see is the High School Musical moment where everyone bursts into song with Pink's Perfect. Gay, bi, straight, whatever. It's an absolutely painful scene to sit through. It's tonally off from the rest of the movie and feels about 10 years too late and astoundingly lame. By far, this is the worst scene in an already pretty bad movie. They Them is simply writing geared towards what kind of message this movie wants to convey and not towards making any sense or having some kind of entertainment value. The kills are extremely bland. There's one inspired electrocution death that was mildly creative, but the other deaths simply have a masked and robed figure burst out of the darkness with an axe or a knife and then cut to blood splatter on the wall. The story isn't any more creative. For some reason, Jordan finds a file filled with incriminating photos of abuse and torture that went on in the early years of the camp. Why the hell would a folder like this exist? Wouldn't such evidence be destroyed or the photos never taken in the first place in order to cover up such activities? It's just inane and inexcusably bad writing. Mid-film, They Them explores traditional gender roles, which shows a bit of nuance to the way this camp tries to not so subtly dissuade those opposing it. They make those who are biologically female bake pies while the guys shoot guns at a target range. I wish the film would have been smart enough to explore these themes further, analyzing and subverting gender roles, and also analyzing and supporting gender roles that come up in slasher films. But it simply isn't smart enough to do that. Instead, the straights are bad and the LGBTQ plus people are good. They also have the densest of plot armor. At the end, the surviving characters all gather around and talk about the arduous ordeal they've been through, when it really wasn't even them that were the targets of the killer. Honestly, aside from having to cook a pie, shoot a gun, and having to walk through the woods at night, most of these kids didn't really endure much action or horror at all, yet they act like they've survived a freaking war. On top of it, this movie shoots a dog. I don't give a shit about spoilers. This motherfucker of a film shoots a damn dog. In this modern day and age, I'm going to be bold and say, fuck any movie that goes for an easy, sentimental kill by murdering a loyal animal. We're supposed to be a more elevated society, thinking about other people's personalities, personal choices, and sensitivities, but for some reason, murdering a dog is okay. I know it didn't really die, but fuck this film for even going there. This just doesn't seem like a modern film. It goes for the lowest common denominator when it comes to moral dilemmas. The story is predictable. The killer is predictable, since before the character is unmasked, there's only one person it could be. And sure enough, it was that character. Characters are oversimplified and downright negatively cliched, One character has sex with another, yet 10 minutes later, he's showing his profound love for yet another character. Way to lean away from that stereotype that all gays are sex-addicted nymphos, movie. While there might be a few schmaltzy moments of empowerment speeches at the end, I honestly think that even those in the LGBTQ community would be offended at how pandering and uninspiring this entire film is. Again, for the cheap and reactionary seats out there, I'm not ripping on this film because it's an LGBTQ plus film. I'm pointing out flaws because it's a horribly written LGBTQ plus film. How is it that gender issues were better examined in the 80s with Sleepaway Camp, Stepford Wives, and Slumber Party Massacre, to name a few, than now? Yet here they them are. Shameful.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're